What is going on, everybody, and welcome back once again. My name is Jordan, also known as J-Monster. Thank you for joining me for another replay battle. Today I have a 2 versus 2 siege on 3rd Age Reforged. This is a large money, large unit settings battle, so you're going to see some pretty beefy armies, I have to say, especially on the part of the attackers. They've got some truly scary forces at their command. This is going to pit the forces of Harad and Gundabad against the fairly strange bedfellows of Dol Amroth and Isengard, who are going to be defending this great Gondorian fortress right here. So without any further ado, let's get right into the army compositions and then into the battle itself. I hope you guys enjoy it. The first army we're going to look at today is the Kingdom of Harad, being commanded by Gamling. And I know what you may be thinking. Harad is the attacking force in a siege? What backward chicanery is this? Well, wait till you see what he's brought. He's got no less than 3 units of Trollmen of Harad. In normal battles, you are lucky to see maybe one of those guys. They are so strong. He's also got 5 units of dismounted Serpent Guard to form his main line. So he's got 3 units of Trollmen and a main line of Serpent Guard. This is already off the map for a Haradrim army. He's also got 3 units of Muhad Berserkers, a new unit in either 0.9 or 0.91, I don't know. It's new in the 0.9 patch cycle. Cheap AP fodder units. These guys can do a lot of damage. They are quite unarmored, however, and I don't think they have a ton of melee defense, so it is very easy for them to die. But they're basically a better version of Orc Fellers in a lot of ways. I've also got 1 unit of Muhad Beast Tamers. Surprisingly enough, these guys are very lightly armored pikemen, but they can do work on heavy infantry. I've actually lost a significant tournament game against a large line of Beast Tamers as Arnors. That's a lot of heavy infantry just because these guys are so strong. Over here, I've got a unit of Catapults, 1 unit of Hashari Shadows. Gamling's also bringing, I believe, 2 units of the Southron Archers. He's got 1 unit of the Hashari Shadows, a very significantly powerful unit. I think they've got multiple HP still in 0.9, but they don't have a lot of armor or melee defense. They are fairly decent, though, in terms of attack in close quarters, so they're definitely not useless once they run out of ammunition. Over here we have 1 unit of Serpent Bodyguard, which is of course where the general is hanging out. The Serpent Bodyguard, it says they're light cavalry, but there's not a lot that heavy cav can do that these guys can't. In fact, I would say that they are better because they are faster and able to get their charges off more often. But I think that does it. No, I am extremely mistaken. We've got the Javelin Corps of the Haradrim army. 2 units of Demons of the Desert. I don't think we've really looked at these guys really all that closely in any of my videos. So these guys are like 3 or 4 HP Jav units. They've got low numbers, but they are AP. They have so much AP damage. It's like 20 AP damage or something like that on their missiles. And I believe they're also AP in melee. So these guys are very, very strong. They're like a more specialized Trollman unit. Behind them, we have a unit of Muhad Tribesmen. These are like a medium javelin unit. We've seen them in a lot of fights. These guys can do a ton of work if given the opportunity. So I think that's it for Gamling's army. Let's move on now to his ally, that being the forces of Gundabad. Another beast army. This is being commanded by King Strategist. He's got 2 units of Rudour Berserkers, 2 units of Witch Realm Scourge Raiders, 1 unit of Trolls of Gundabad, a couple units of Rudour Heavy Pikes. He's also got a couple of Rudour Savage units, and what else has he got? Oh yes, this is beautiful. 2 units of Witch Realm Hammerguard, one of my favorite units in the game. You will almost never see 2 units of these, so I don't know. Don't judge the Gundabad roster and tell me that they're overpowered just because you see 2 of these guys in action. This is a very large money battle, so you're not going to see this very often. But right now, it is a beautiful treat. So he's got a couple units of those Hammerguard, 1 unit of Witch Realm Inquisitors. He's mounted variant of the Witch Realm Blackguard. I think this is where his general is. Yeah, there's Azog the Ugly, looking quite foul there atop his horse. And he's got a unit of Blackguard as well, I believe, hanging out over here on the wings. Yes, there they are. Normally this is your general's bodyguard unit, but not today. The Blackguard are going to be fighting on the front lines, which I think is really exciting. You can't see them. I don't know exactly where they're hiding right now, but he's got a couple units of Numenorian Shadow Guard and 1 unit of Gundabad Tracker. So he actually has quite the melee force and quite the range contingent as well. 2 units of Shadow Guard, again, not something you see very often. So without any further ado, let's move on now and let's take a look at what their opponents inside the Citadel are bringing. The first army we're looking at today is the Dol Amroth Garrison, being commanded by Peacekeeper. He's got 4 units of Dol Amroth men-at-arms, all of whom have armor upgrades. Let's just take a moment here and appreciate how beautiful the upgrades on these guys are. They truly look like the professional frontline infantry that they are envisioned to be. Peacekeeper's also bringing a couple units of Adelon Halberdiers. I love these guys. I have seen them take down just about anything you can think of from the front. Be it heavy cavalry, the best heavy cavalry in the game. You can throw Kalanardhan knights in the front of these guys and they will butcher them as long as they are braced and in defensive formation. They are a very strong halberd unit. And of course they have AP as well. They're wielding giant axes. Why not? Peacekeepers also got a unit of, just one unit of Tirthair marksmen. These guys are, in terms of archers available to Dol Amroth, they are mid-tier in damage, but in survivability, they are the best around. Great for wearing down opponents' archers. It's not going to be able to shoot these guys down with anything short of AP arrows. Cavalry or artillery fire, that also works really well. Speaking of artillery fire, check that out. Slow motion catapult volley going into the front of that. Peacekeepers also got a unit of Dol Amroth archers. Some Blackroot Vale archers here who are just not having a good day on the front lines against that catapult unit. You can see a few of them dying. It's very unfortunate for them. Peacekeepers also got a couple units of Swan Knights. One of them is hanging out up here. These Swan Knights are not as strong as they used to be. They're still high tier. I would say that they're like lower end high tier. They've got a lot of HP and a lot of armor and defense, but not as much as the more elite picks for Dol Amroth. Moving on to the town center, which is where the rest of his elite corps is. You can see the second unit of Swan Knights right there. The second unit of Adelon Halberdiers. Very tough. But these guys, the Talon Knights, definitely the pride of the Dol Amroth Infantry Corps, or the mainline Infantry Corps, the Sword and Board grouping. These guys have 3 HP, a ton of armor and defense. Not easy to kill these guys, even with the AP that the attackers have brought to bear today. Over here we got one unit of Haven Guard. These are some of the best shock infantry in the game. I think they only really lose out to things like Hammer Guard and maybe not even Hammer Guard, because these guys have like much better defense. It's not easy for Hammer Guard to beat these guys, even with their AP advantage. But the Temple Inquisitors definitely beat these guys out, but the Haven Guard's still a very strong unit. Not easy to beat down. Over here we have one unit of Tirthair Wardens. A great unit for holding the line, multiple HP. I believe they have about 2. And they've got, of course, massive defense bonuses being Spearmen. Over here we got a couple units, or we have one of the 2 units of Dol Amroth Pikemen. Unfortunately, they don't have armor upgrades. It's unfortunate. They look very, very, very sexy with their armor upgrades. But I think that basically does it for the Dol Amroth army. Actually, no, that's not true. He's got one unit. You can see them sallying out this southern gate here. One unit of White Knights, which is his general's bodyguard pick. And yeah, the White Knights are very, very deadly. I don't think they're anti-armor, but they are anti-cavalry, and yeah, they're just generally a very scary unit to have to fight against. So moving on now to the forces of Isengard. Isengard is very much the numbers to the Dol Amroth elite, but much smaller force. I believe Belfalas has about 3 units of Uruk-hai pikemen, 3 units of the Uruk Reavers. You can see them right here. Nice little AP pick. That's going to be useful against some of the heavily armored troops that are coming their way on the side of the attackers. He's got a few units of Uruk-hai archers, a lot of archers in the Citadel right now. This is going to be a very bloody advance for some of the more lightly armored troops of Gundabad, and especially Harad. But yeah, we got some more Uruk Reavers there. He's got a couple units of Berserkers who I believe are hanging out in the town center alongside his general's bodyguard pick, that being his champions of the White Hand unit. But yeah, there are the Berserkers right there. I believe he's got about 2 units of them. He's also got a unit of Catapult. And over at the front lines again, he's got, I think, 2 or 3 units of Uruk-hai infantry. And there's 1 unit of like Dunlending clansmen hanging out somewhere. Yes, there they are, hanging out with the pikemen and some of the Dol Amroth archers up on the wall. But I think that basically does it for Isengard's army. So without any further ado, let's get into the battle itself. The siege is officially underway, and you can see that both attacking forces have decided to deploy together, which is an intelligent decision. But already you can see the differences between the commanders. Harad is just slowly bashing down the walls, looking to get a piece, I think, of the large number of men currently stationed up here. I think we got like 1 or 2 units, maybe, of the Blackroot archers backed up by a unit of clansmen. So if they can collapse that section, they're going to kill a lot of these guys very, very quickly and chase some of the defenders off the walls. So it seems to me that they're taking a much more methodical approach, whereas Gundabad is doing what Gundabad does best, and they are just going for it. These poor Rudar savages here having a really bad day. They're basically being focus fired by all of the archer companies over there on the wall, and it looks like they really want to shut down that ram quickly, which is a good idea. Losing this ram means that they have to commit yet another unit into the jaws of this mighty archer line. Oh, speaking of which, the line is beginning to crumble. I think a lot of those Blackroot Vale archers just evaporated. Yeah, look at that. Look at the difference in available fighting strength there now. But yeah, they're trying to take down this ram as quickly as possible, but that does have the effect of allowing the rest of the Gundabad force to advance more or less unharassed. And there goes that section of wall. Harad is now officially into the city, and Gundabad is at the walls. They were very, very close here, and honestly, I think the rush is not a bad idea at all on the part of Gundabad. Let me be clear about that. The methodical method, it works great, but what Gundabad is doing is also an intelligent decision. There's a lot of archers up here, and any sort of extended siege battle with, say, a lot of skirmishing and that sort of thing is necessarily going to end in favor of the defenders because they have so many archers up here in a better position, and of course they've got all of the towers. So just going for it like this, surprising their archer companies, not letting them do their work, is, I think, a really good idea on the part of King Strategist's Gundabad army. Speaking of, oh man, you can see them scaling the walls a little bit buggy. I hope this, oh my god, are they gonna fall off and die? No, okay, they're finding a miraculous, just hidden postern gate, and they're just gonna pop up there. Okay, thank god, that would have been disastrous for Gundabad. The Scourge Raiders now on the walls, having a bad day. There's enough men-at-arms there to keep them busy for a long time. They're just not able to get up in sufficient numbers to really start to get the foothold that they need. Maybe that's going to turn around as more and more of them begin to pour onto the walls, but I think this unit of Scourge Raiders is going to end up being lost in the early stages of the assault. Oh, the Rudauer Savages made it against all odds. Let's take a look at this. Look at this, just trail of bodies here, a little trail of tears for these Rudauer Axemen. They have now gone to the gate, accomplished their goal with only 19 men remaining, and presumably soaked up a lot of defender ammunition in the process. So it looks like the Rudauer heavy pikes, their brothers now moving in to capitalize on the gains. Another piece of wall having fallen. Oh man, those poor Dunlendings. They're just having a very bad time, aren't they? I see exactly what they're trying to do. When you blow holes in a wall and you can prevent a unit from getting off the wall, so for example, if this door wasn't here, this entire unit would be dead right now. If you can trap a unit on the walls and blow out the escapes around them, then you can destroy that entire unit in just a single shot. But unfortunately, the Dol Amroth and Isengard forces alongside the Blackroot Vale archers were not able to get off the wall in time. You can see a lot of their dead brothers in the breach here. These Dol Amroth pikemen now holding their ground. But honestly, this maybe they shouldn't be in the breach like this, I'm thinking, because now they're going to be an easy target for archer fire, for example, or from that Harad catapult. If they want to, they could blow holes in this pike block, although it looks like their attention might be contained elsewhere. Let's find out. Oh, where are you guys going? Oh, missing the pikes entirely. Smacking those rear grievers in the face. They're just not happy about that. That was a lot of dead for a single catapult shot. I have to say, that was a nice hit. Over here at the gatehouse, Rudauer is going toe-to-toe with the Isengard pikes. It's a nice little pike battle. Everyone poking each other with sharp sticks. It looks like Isengard has the upper hand here. I think largely due to the fact that they're able to essentially surround the two. There's two Rudauer units in there. I'm positive of it. Yeah, there is. Both of them trying to just punch their way through with sheer numbers. But you can see the more they push in, the more they find themselves surrounded. So Isengard, I think, is going to do really well here, despite the disparity in numbers. Let's see what else is going on here. Looks like the Hammer Guard being left, I think, a little bit too close to the walls. It appears, at the moment, the defender attention is elsewhere, so they're not targeting this Witchall Hammer Guard. But generally, you don't want to leave them where they can get shot by those towers, especially. Those towers do a lot of damage. Yeah, definitely not a good position for them to be in right now. The Witchfront Blackguard, though, they have really nothing to fear from most of the archers up there. I think the rest of the archers are hanging out here. Maybe there's more than one unit of Goblin Trackers. Maybe he's got a lot more archers than I thought he did. My apologies for that. Hidden units, they throw my brain for a loop. But in any case, Gundabad just kind of biding their time, waiting to see how effective that first line of pikes is going to be. Harad still poking holes in the walls, but you can see them beginning to move forward now. Long columns of Serpent Guard moving towards that wall. Things are going to get messy for the defenders in just a few moments. Yeah, they're still holding their ground. They're still up there with those archers. Despite the presence of that catapult, you can see it trying to blow some more holes in the wall. I think it's just targeting the units in here on the other end of the wall, not trying to blow down any more sections of wall. He might be running out of ammunition at this point. Although, targeting this with the remaining ammunition might not have been a bad idea. They might have been able to do it and then blow away a significant portion of these Blackroot Vale archers as well, as denying the defenders a little bit more ground because they won't be able to post their archers up here. But in any case, they're definitely trying to dent the forces on the interior as much as possible before they move in, and it looks like Harad is doing so in a big way. Got some Southron archers over here moving forward, looking. I'm pretty sure they're going to target those pikes and those Uruk Reavers. Those Uruk Reavers and the pikes are very vulnerable to missiles, and indeed, the Dol Amroth pikemen have already taken a few losses. Peacekeeper now falling back from the walls with his Blackroot Vale archers, probably going to move them back into the city where he can get them into a better vantage point and get them active and try and butcher the attackers as they move through these choke points. Oh man, those poor Uruk Reavers. They are not as well armored as the pikemen, so they're going to take a lot more casualties. So it's probably a very good idea that Metalize is now moving them out of danger from the attacking enemy archers. How are we doing over here? Down at the gate. Oh man, those poor Root Hour pikes, they're just getting slaughtered. This is not doing well for them at all. They've only managed to get about 17 or so kills since our last look, and there's still so many more defenders to come. Looks like Metalized is kind of falling back. Oh, maybe there's 2 units of pikes in here. No, they might just be reforming. The AI is kind of strange in siege battles. Pathfinding's not amazing. Now it says that victory is certain for the Root Hour pikes. I don't know how they're managing to turn that around, but according to that, they are somehow managing to get the advantage over the Isengard pike blocks, and I think that's because of their trying to reform. I think they were in a perfectly good position earlier, and they could have just remained there and shut down that Root Hour pike wave. But at the moment, it seems that the Root Hour pikes are somehow managing to bring it back from the brink. The Haradrim Serpent Guard have now moved in. They have made it to the walls, and they are ready to support that push from the Root Hour pikes. This is possibly the reason why Metalized Uruk-hai pikemen are trying to reform. They may be trying to cover a larger portion of ground, like these gatehouses, for example. You can see exactly what they're doing. Yep, trying to cover that gatehouse. I'm sure they'll move in over here and try and cover this with something else so they can avoid being flanked. Any units coming down here are going to come right into a nest of spears, so that's probably not the worst decision on the part of the Isengard player. Now let's take a quick look over here. It looks like some of the Serpent Guards. There was a unit of them that was just kind of left out here, and I think they got entangled a little bit with the White Knights, Peacekeeper's General Bodyguard unit, which you can see moving around on the corner there. But now there is a unit of Guerrilla Serpent Guard in behind enemy lines. It'll be interesting to see what Harad does with that ace in the hole. White Knights from Peacekeeper's General's Bodyguard looking to get a piece of those Hashari Shadows. That is going to be a brutal fight for the Hashari Shadows, but it looks like they might be pulling out. No, maybe a little bit of pathfinding issues here, or a little bit of indecisiveness on the part of the commander. It looks like ultimately they are going to try and back off. Gambling saw what was happening and moved in with his Serpent Guard. Like I said, these guys are no slouches, as bodyguard units tend to be. They are AP, so an AP cavalry unit against a cav unit without AP, that is always going to go in favor of the AP unit. Yeah, Gambling, making sure that those guys don't get any more bright ideas, moving in with his Muhad tribesmen to form a wall around his expensive Hashari Shadows. Over here, Gundabad has actually moved in with his cav as well, so I don't think we're going to see a lot from Peacekeeper's White Knights out here in the field. Indeed, they are in full retreat. Let's see what's happening over here. Looks like Dol Amroth moving in some Talon Knights. Oh, that is a beautiful counter to this little guerrilla flanking attack here by the dismounted Serpent Guard. The Talon Knights will butcher these guys. It won't even be fair. It's gonna be it's gonna be bloody. Moving back over to the main fight, these Dol Amroth pikemen have held their ground and only lost one man since the Southron archers begun to fire at them. So it looks like they're going to be able to hold these choke points for a significant portion of time. There is a bit of a gap in their defenses here. If this position was attacked from 2 places at once, I think the defenders would be hard-pressed to hold it. Over here at the gatehouse, the Isengard pikemen is starting to bring it back. Looks like some more pikes have been committed. Some Witch Realm pikemen aiding their brothers. There's some Muhads in there as well. I don't know if that's a great place for the Muhads to be. Running head first with that light infantry into a pike block could be a disastrous mistake for those important AP units. Up here, the Serpent Guard on the walls doing work against the Reavers, but the Reavers have the numbers. And on this small front like this, that the extra numbers that the Reavers bring to bear alongside their AP bonus, I think is going to start to turn the tide in favor of Isengard. And you can see already the game seems to agree with me. The victory seems certain for the Zurich Reavers, and those poor Serpent Guard are having a really bad time. Over here, however, backed up by those trolls of Gundabad, they are cutting up the Reaver, so it looks like Gundabad and the Harad are going to have the foothold that they need to get this siege underway. Oh man, those poor Uruk Reavers just having a really hard time holding back this brutal 1-2 punch. Although it looks like, all along the walls, things have just gotten really bloody. I think the Rudar Berserkers got absolutely slaughtered, but they did a number on the men-at-arms and these Uruk Reavers over here. So this line is significantly weakened thanks to the sacrifice of those Rudar Axemen. And yeah, it looks like the Axemen and the the Berserkers were in there as well. Dol Amroth still looking pretty good, though. They managed to take down 2 very important Rudar units. These guys also inspire units around them, in addition to having 2 HP and being AP. So honestly, the Dol Amroth men-at-arms and their Isengard allies, I think, came out on top in this particular engagement, but they are severely bloodied nonetheless. And you can see Isengard shifting some reinforcements over, while these Dol Amroth men-at-arms have really suffered, but I think they're going to have to rally and move towards these Serpent Guard if they want to prevent the attackers from getting the foothold that they need. What do we got down here? Looks like the Gundabad Trolls have actually moved in for a nice flanking move. Those Muhad Berserkers definitely, I'm sure, grateful for the support. The Uruk-hai Pikemen now getting brutalized. Dol Amroth trying to move in, counter with their Halberdiers. That's not a bad move at all. I think this might be enough to crush this offensive. But oh my goodness, Gundabad has actually managed to skirt a unit of Witch Realm Hammerguard in there, and now he is moving them in for a nice flanking attack, actually looking to get entangled with some of those Dol Amroth archers. That's not even going to be a fair fight. Look at these guys. They're just killing these archers. Yeah, this Hammerguard coming back for another attack. Oh man, I think that the gatehouse is definitely lost for the defenders at this point. They're not going to give it up so easily. You can see some of the tier 3 marksmen here. Actually, the only unit has now fallen back, and they are given the business to the Serpent Guard up there on the wall. You can see some significant casualties have now gone into that elite unit. And those Trolls of Gundabad out in the open, looking to get sniped, I think. Yeah, you can see they're all very bloodied now. They've definitely lost some men. I think about half the unit, nearly. This has proven to be a costly venture for the attackers. How are we doing up here on the wall? The Uruk Reaver is actually being beaten back. The Serpent Guard somehow managing to pull things back from the brink, but you can see they've taken a lot of damage. In terms of a trade-off, I think this is definitely in favor of Isengard. The Uruk Reavers are a lot less expensive and a lot less important than these heavy infantry. Oh man, Gundabad they've really gone all in. Looks like the Numenorean Shadow Guard joining the fight as well. I think they're out of ammunition. Yeah, they are definitely out of ammunition. The Blackguard is in there. Everything from Gundabad has just moved in and smashed aside this defensive line for the defenders. I think they managed to attack them so quickly that they just weren't able to respond in time. Oh, some counter fire, claiming the lives of a handful of Blackguard there from the Isengard catapult. If they're not careful, this could be a very big problem. The Berserkers, and it looks like they're trying to back up what remains of the Pikemen, fighting hard against the Blackguard and the Hammerguard and the Pikes. That's not an easy fight for the Berserkers. All they have to do is hold long enough. Reinforcements are coming, and that catapult up there, that is going to do a lot of damage to the massed forces of Gundabad. Yeah, the gatehouse still controlled by Isengard, though, surprisingly, or Dol Amroth, I suppose. I don't know. I just assumed the Isengard flag there meant to belong to them. What do we got here? I want to know where those Witchers are. I want to know what they're up to, because this is a great time for them to get into the action. Oh, I don't see them. Looks like the Numenorean Shadow Guard, actually, not all of them are out of ammunition. You can see them up here supporting the Serpent Guard on the walls, laying down some counter fire into those tier 3 marksmen, but as I said earlier, it's not going to be an easy fight. For this Numenorean Shadow Guard, the marksmen have a lot of endurance. Down here, things have evened out a little bit, although it says that it's in favor of the Witch Realm Pikes. Looking at things for myself, they are being pushed back a lot. You can see these forces being driven back despite their numerical advantage. Oh man, over here, those Halberdiers, they're really suffering, and it looks like the Dol Amroth Pikemen have now been committed as well, but I think they're going to do a lot of damage. Some of the Hammer Guard have taken a beating down, I think, from like 95. Oh, the Witcher shots! Oh my god! That is a disaster for Isengard and her ally Dol Amroth. Look at this. This entire counter push is just being butchered. Oh my god. That is a beautiful sight to see. Really well-placed unit of Witchers up there from King Strategist. I think they actually used their entire ammunition pool here. Oh, that entire unit of Amroth men-at-arms. That was like a brand new reinforcement unit, full strength. has just been destroyed. The catapult getting a little bit of revenge, claiming lives both on top and below the gatehouse. But the damage has already been done. Look at the smoking wreckage here of those Dol Amroth men-at-arms and the Berserkers. The Berserkers especially, a very expensive, very important unit here that was doing really well in support of what remains of the Isengard pike block, just got themselves fried like chicken dinner by those Witchers up there on the gatehouse. Really nicely played by Gundabad. I think they've turned this fight around for their faction, absolutely. Oh, a nice hammer and anvil attack here from Gundabad coming in from the rear with those Witch Realm Inquisitors. They're going to do pretty well against the Berserkers. I wouldn't leave them in there for too long because you don't want to lose too many of your Inquisitors. But damn, that was a nice attack. And now that pike line has evaporated. All of the strength and will from the Isengard forces has just been destroyed by that very timely charge from the Witch Realm Blackguard. Moving over here to the other choke point, looks like the Muhad Berserkers have moved in alongside another unit of Witch Realm Hammerguard, and they've cornered those Dol Amroth pikemen. These guys not going to be able to hold the line. They're already thinking about routing. Let's move on up here and see how things are going. Serpent Guard, alongside the mounted Serpent Bodyguards, have managed to push in. This is just brutal. So many of the defenders just kind of caught out here, up on the walls in the Urukai infantry and the Swan Knights, pushing hard against the Serpent Guard and the Hashari. Actually, the Hashari Shadows have now been committed to the fight. They are going to win this, but honestly, look how isolated these guys are, and look at the forces that are being commanded by Harad. They have just broken through in so many ways. Down here, Hashari fighting in the streets against the Swan Knights. The Hashari, as far as I know, lack AP, so that's not going to be an easy fight for them. They do have a lot of nice attack values, though, so maybe that's going to be enough to side through the reasonably formidable defenses of this Swan Knight unit. You can see the battle starting to turn against them. Maybe the Hashari are going to be able to break through after all. Down here, the Muhad Berserkers now free to do whatever they want after dispatching those Dol Amroth pikemen. You can see them moving in on the flank, and they are going to sweep away what remains of the defending armies on this first level. And just look at the destruction here on both sides. I mean, so many of the attackers, especially the pikemen, died to get this foothold. But back here, oh, that was disgusting. Oh, a little bit of lag there. My bad. Looks like the Trolls of the White Hand moving in. I don't think this is a good place for them to be. They are infantry, so they are not going to do well against those pikemen. They're just going to have holes poked in them. They need a little bit of defense. I'm not sure this is the best use of the Trolls of Isengard at this point. There's enough forces here that's, I think, combined can really do a lot of damage to these Trolls. So they need to be pulled back. You don't want to put them into battle against Blackguard and Hammerguard both together. That is just going to result in the destruction of your Troll unit. Back here, you can see the defenders reforming some halberdiers in amongst the ranks of the pikemen, but they're taking a lot of damage from the Shadow Guard up on the wall. Actually, looks like both of the units of Shadow Guard still have ammo, and they're just raining down death and destruction upon the Urukai pikemen. Let's see what the defenders have left. That was a heavy defeat for them. A lot of fairly understrength unit of Dol Amroth men-at-arms. I think this one right here was on the wall. So Peacekeeper has managed to regroup some of his forces, but back here, well, maybe. They've got a lot of crossbows. They've got a lot of decent infantry that can hold the line long enough for those crossbows to get work done. They've also got the Isengard catapult, and of course the cavalry is still active. Looks like they're looking for a potential weak point in the attacking lines, looking to get in behind and do a lot of damage. Oh man, coming back to the Swan Knight fight, there's a unit of Hammerguard in there now, and they are just gonna batter these Swan Knights. They're just gonna smack them around like baseballs with those giant hammers of theirs. Oh, those poor Swan Knights really having a bad time. But there's Talon Knights yet to come. I don't know. Maybe Gundabad won't run out of steam before they can manage to chew through these Talon Knights. If they do that, then this flank is compromised, and I think the defenders they will end up losing if that happens. Oh, Gundabad just lost his general in a fight with some Talon Knights. Where did this happen? I think it's over here. Oh man, Gundabad's general getting cut down by the other unit of Talon Knights. The Haradrim bodyguard trying to make them pay for it as they chase down what remains of the Gundabad cavalry. But it looks like those two cavalry units are feeling a little bit overmatched, and I don't blame them. The Talon Knights, not an easy foe to take on, especially in a city fight like this, where those cavalry can't get that charge bonus going. A lot of those Haradrim bodyguards, very valuable too, just went down in their retreat. Peacekeeper now moving in, looking to capitalize on the gains that the defenders have made with his White Knights. Gundabad's general unit just kind of sitting there. A little bit of a miss micro, I think, on the part of King Strategist. And they're going to get caught up by those Talon Knights with, not Talon Knights, White Knights and Talon Knights, with Prince Imrahil himself at their head, cutting down that bodyguard unit. They are going to be able to retreat in time back through the lines, but I think the damage has been done to the attacking cavalry, and they don't have a lot to go around. Now they have even less. Over here we got the Serpent Guard fighting hard against the Swan Knights. These guys are winning, surprisingly enough. I would have expected the Swan Knights to do a little bit better, but I think maybe these Swan Knights were exhausted and probably had already taken some casualties before they got engaged. Up here, the Trollmen of Harad. Harad going to its Triarii, so to speak, and beginning to hack down what remains of these Isengard infantry. It says the balanced forces is evenly matched. These guys are going to get hacked down, but there's quite a lot of them. And I think the cost and fatigue to this Trollmen unit might even be worth it enough for the defending forces. More reinforcements pouring in. The Southron archers from Gambling now out of ammunition, moving in to, I think, support the Serpent Guard. And they're definitely going to need it with those Talon Knights and the White Knights now arriving on the scene. These Serpent Guard, I think, are going to find themselves very quickly overmatched. Yeah, look at this. Peacekeeper just running right through, getting into those Southron archers. These few, oh no, more of them are breaking through, so they're not going to be so isolated anymore. This Haradrim line has now been broken. These Serpent Guard thinking about routing. They need to get some reinforcements in here, otherwise their assault is going to be severely compromised. Oh man, the Talon Knights just managing to turn it around wherever they happen to be. Let's take a look at how, oh, things are going in the center. Not so great. Harad needs to get those Muhan Berserkers moving, and indeed he is, but not after a very juicy catapult shot from the Isengard catapult claimed the lives of many of his lightly armored warriors. Oh man, that Halberdier pike combo just holding up well against the best that Gundabad and Harad have to throw at them. Meanwhile, that catapult, hungry, doing a lot of damage. It's a very juicy target. Honestly, I don't know how the defenders have managed it, but they have turned things around really quickly. The initial fight at the gate just saw their defenses swept away, and I thought it was going to be a wash, but honestly, they've managed to regroup and rally and really start to turn things around. Oh my goodness! The damage being done here to these Gundabad warriors. This is some expensive stuff here. Got some Hammer Guard and Blackguard in the fight. Gundabad just surging forward, really desperate, I think, at this point, to try and break through. We got over here a little lone unit of Dol Amroth men-at-arms trying to move in and support the Talon Knights. Not that the Talon Knights need it. They are beating back the Hashari and the Witch Realm Hammer Guard, and indeed the Catapult unit quite soundly. Over here, another unit of Serpent Guard. Yes, the second unit from the walls has now moved in to try and counter these Talon Knights. And at the same time, Harad has moved in with their own pikemen. This might be the advantage they need, I think, to maybe beat back these Talon Knights. I don't know. We'll see. Up here on the wall, these Trollmen, the presence of the Trollmen on the battlefield is really, or the lack of their presence, I should say, really being felt. Isengard is just managing to delay them long enough for the fight down here to turn against Harad. If they could get these Trollmen in behind the Talon Knights, that would be all she wrote. Might even be able to trap Peacekeeper's bodyguard, but thanks to the valiant sacrifice of these Uruk-hai infantry, that is not going to be the case for Harad. Let's move back over here to the center. We can see some flanking movements actually going around. Looks like the champions of the White Hand from Isengard getting caught up with some trolls of Gundabad. That is not a fight. I think that the White Hand champions are going to win. So it looks like what remains of Gundabad's cavalry is in there as well. Oh yeah, a lot of those champions of the White Hand now falling to that lone Gundabad troll. Actually, I shouldn't say unit of trolls. It's just the one guy at this point. Yeah, now trying to chase them down. He's almost as fast as his cavalry, and the cavalry are a little bit limited by their pathfinding in the city. So this troll of Gundabad might be able to catch up to them and inflict some serious casualties, disproportionate to the amounts that this single troll represents. Down here, the tier there, marksmen have now been committed as the Adelon Halberdier and Uruk-hai pike line is beginning to thin out. Oh man, those pikemen, these Uruk-hai pikemen alongside the Rudar heavy pikes have just suffered tremendously. I think the attackers maybe start to run out of steam here. I don't know if they're even going to make it to the center plaza. Oh man, those White Hand trolls champions of the White Hand just relentlessly being chased by that troll of Gundabad, who's managed to get in here and looks like he's distracting the crossbows a sufficient amount. Maybe that's going to be enough to allow the attackers to move in with some other troops and begin to push their way through here. They desperately need a breakthrough. They need a break of any kind at this point. They're just really suffering, I think, at the hands of the judicious deployment of the defenders. There we go. I can talk today. These Talon Knights, very tired, exhausted, alongside their Swan Knight brothers. I don't think it's going to make any difference, though, for these lightly armored Haradrim troops. Even with the addition of the Muhad Beast Tamers, it's not enough. It's just not enough to drive back these Talon Knights. They are that strong. How the Trollmen of Harad doing up here? Haven't taken a lot of damage in terms of casualties, although I'm sure they've had a lot of HP knocked off. These Uruk-hai infantry now very handily getting defeated. If they die at this rate, maybe the Trollmen will be able to get out, come around, and flank those Talon Knights, and that's going to be the end of that unit if that happens. Looks like Gambling has actually moved in with a unit of his Trollmen to take on these significantly tired Talon Knights and what remains of the Swan Knights, and a couple units of Dol Amroth men-at-arms. That depleted unit we saw earlier has joined the Talon Knights and trying to hold back the Trollmen. I think the Trollmen, it says defeat is almost a certainty, but honestly I think the Trollmen are going to come out on top on that. They've got a little bit of archer support as well, which I think is going to make all the difference. Gambling moving in now with his Demons of the Desert. I wonder what his plan is with these guys, if he can get them in there and possibly up here towards this line. Oh man, they could do so much damage, though they do have to be worried about those Isengard crossbows. Those Demons of the Desert are not very well armored, so missile fire takes them down quite quickly, especially the high damage that these crossbows represent. Looks like a unit of Serpent Guard managed to effect some kind of minor breakthrough, getting in behind the Uruk-hai Pikes and the Tier 3 Marksmen. I don't think there's enough of them, though, to make a difference. And a counter charge from the Tier 3 Wardens is going to see these guys off very, very quickly. Uruk-hai crossbows moving forward. I don't know what they're doing down here. They had a nice little perch up there. I see. They're moving elsewhere in the city, possibly looking to lend a hand. Oh, yeah, I see what's happening. Gambling just walking through the thin line of Talon Knights at this point with his Trollmen, looking to surround those guys, break up their formation, and slay them quickly. Looks like those crossbows from Metalized need to stop moving and maybe try and get a volley off, but I don't think they're going to be able to in time. Those Trollmen charging downhill into the Uruk-hai crossbows, doing a lot of damage. Yeah, that is going to be a shit show, a slaughterhouse in favor of the Haradrim. So maybe that's going to be the breakthrough that they need to crush this defensive line. Oh man, what just happened? Oh, it was a beautiful volley from those crossbows. You can see they just did a lot of damage. I think a lot of that actually went into their own troops, though. Oh man, the Numenorian Shadow Guard and the Muhad Berserker are starting to run out of steam. You can see just so many of the Haradrim have died here alongside their Gundabad allies. Oh, those accurate counter volleys just scything through the ranks of the Shadow Guard. I don't know what they got left. Oh, they have some Trollmen, maybe. Maybe that'll be enough. Let's see what else we got here. I don't know if the defenders have any more arrows on the walls. No, but they are still in charge of the arrow towers. You can see the slow burn that is managing to do to the attackers. Look at all these Serpent Guard. They probably just died to arrow towers and that sort of thing. Let's see anything going over on this end. Doesn't look like it. Those Tier 3 Spearmen managed to drive back the Serpent Bodyguard very, very handily. I'm sure they're now routing off the field. We won't see anything more from them in this battle. Those Dol Amroth men-at-arms and this defensive line in general looking really thin, but the attackers looking even thinner. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it through. Over here, a heavy counter push from the cavalry. You can see the Trollmen of Harad really suffering, I think, at the hands of these cavalry, but with the presence of these Demons of the Desert, oh man, they're going to do a lot of damage to these guys. Some friendly fire as well, frying some of those White Knights, but the rest of this is just done by the Demons of the Desert. You can see them just claiming the lives of many of these White Knight bodyguards. This is really not a good place for them to be. There's no way I think that they're going to be able to get in there, what with the Hashari and the Trollmen, so they're not going to be able to move in and silence the Demons of the Desert. Oh, but that catapult shot! Oh, another one! I think there was like two more in there. All those Trollmen of Harad just got pummeled. And it looks like Gambling is actually going to move forward with them. I don't know where that shot's coming from. Oh, I see what's going on here. Oh, maybe I don't. I'm pretty sure it's in the center, though. Yeah. Look at that. Look at this sneakiness here. This is a beautiful position for that catapult on the part of Metalized. Done a lot of damage to those Trollmen. They are absolutely at the mercy of these Tier 3 Wardens. Even though they are fighting them downhill, they are quite tired. Now shaken, believe it or not. Oh, never mind. That's a different unit. But the Trollmen are they're starting to tire out, and they definitely have their flank exposed. Oh, big catapult shot into those demons of the desert, claiming the lives of many of those expensive javelin men. Although they have managed to see off what remains of the Gondor bodyguard. Another handful of white knights looks like fell to their vicious javelins. And those demons of the desert, I don't know. Oh, I see what they might be trying to do. Maybe get some flank shots into those tier there wardens. That might be everything that these guys need to help the trollmen break through. Oh, let's see what they're doing. Oh, nice. Exactly what I thought they were going to do. Tossing their javelins into the flank. All these tier there wardens going to help the these trollmen out and help them break through here very quickly. Metallized crossbow unit. Looks like he managed to save them and pull them out before they were completely destroyed. Looks like with the timely intervention of his cavalry. So we still got some skirmishers here, and that's going to be a big problem for the trollmen. They do not have a lot of armor. They've got decent melee defense, but not a lot of armor. Over here, the arrival of these trollmen of Harad has managed to allow the attackers to break through the defending lines, and now they have a clear shot straight to the central plaza. There is this unit of Uruk-hai pikemen here standing in their way, and looks like they're getting ready to fire. That's going to be devastating for the trollmen of Harad. Oh man, did you see how many of those trollmen went down? It's like a solid 6 or 7. That is brutal. Oh, one more beautiful volley. Come on. Show us the power of the Isengard crossbows. Come on. Come on, do it. Okay, maybe they're not going to do it now. No, those crossbows definitely taking their time. Not a lot left for the defenders, though. It looks like they've really heavily committed everything that they had at this point. If you look at the mini-map there, just a few little red dots still in the center. Some fairly important red dots, though. We got those white knights, and we've yet to see the Haven Guard tested in battle. I'm looking forward to that. Those Haven Guard, I think, may be able to turn this fight around if their fights are chosen wisely. Over here, those spearmen actually being cut down by serpent bodyguards who are moving through that unit of spears, breaking up their formation. I think trying to get into the Uruk-hai crossbows, or maybe they're just trying to get to skirt past these units entirely and get somewhere with their serpent bodyguard. Don't know what they're going after. They may be moving in for a flank attack on the central plaza. Not a bad idea at all, I think. I don't know why these guys are routing. They should not be routing in the town square. Yeah, not a lot left for the defenders in there. I think those serpent bodyguard, there's enough of them to really be a serious nuisance for what remains of the defending forces. See how things are going over here. The serpent bodyguards charging into the Uruk-hai crossbows. They've changed their minds. They decided that instead they're going to harass these Isengard skirmishers. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. These serpent bodyguards are going to cut these guys down, and that's going to deny Isengard a lot of damage to these trollmen. Oh man, these tier there wardens just getting absolutely destroyed, even by cavalry. Yeah, thinking possibly even about routing. Everything's going in the central plaza. The trollmen of Harad have actually moved up to contest the grounds with the Uruk-hai crossbows. So the second and final Isengard skirmish unit crossbow skirmish unit, I should say, has been silenced by these trollmen. The Haven Guard are in there, but it's going to take them a while, I think, to get to the front lines. And in the meantime, the trollmen are doing their bloody work amongst the ranks of these Uruk-hai crossbows. That's kind of a glorious little shot there. Let's get a picture of that. Oh man, those Haven Guard, they're really gonna turn things around. There's not enough trollmen here to really make a difference against the Haven Guard. Haven Guards definitely have the killing power, I think, to take down those lightly armored trolls. Let's see what's left for the attackers. I mean, look at the destruction here. Everyone has lost this battle at this point. Nobody really has much of an army left. 96% to 95%. This is down to the wire. I'll say those Talon Knights have finally been mopped up. Those trollmen of Harad managed to cut their way through all that Isengard infantry. I'm not sure whose general that was. It might have been Isengard. Yeah, it looks like Isengard's. But these trollmen managed to cut their way through this entire block and move in to flank what remains of those Talon Knights. Yeah, one Talon Knight left fighting a bunch of Serpent Guard and a handful of Beast Tamers. Still a very costly engagement for Harad. Moving on back to the central plaza. With the arrival of another 83 trollmen, I think that the Haven Guard themselves may even struggle. They are being worn down a little bit by this fairly depleted unit of trollmen. And these guys they're holding the line. It says I don't believe that for a second. There's no way victory is certain against these Haven Guard unless there's some shenanigans going on. Yeah, now the Trollmen start to turn against them. They're just getting hacked down by those vicious two-handed greatswords. I love the look of their greatswords. It looks like something out of the Warhammer universe, something that like a Blood Angel sergeant would use to hack down demons. Which I think is quite appropriate since the Haven Guard are essentially the Space Marines of the Dol Amroth army. Those Trollmen have Harad getting beaten back quickly. The Haradrim and their allies need to throw everything they got at that central point. This is where most of the defending strength is still concentrated. If they can take down those Haven Guard, then I think that they can officially declare victory. Oh man, there's still so many Trollmen yet to come. I don't know how the defenders are going to deal with this. Not with the meager force that they have left. Oh man, this catapult. What's this catapult up to? Taking pot shots at the side of the building, apparently. Probably trying to get into these demons of the desert and kill them if at all possible. Oh, yeah, it looks like these guys are now out of ammunition with their javelins. Moving forward, trying to get a piece of those White Knights. And White Knights charging forward. Not able to get their charge bonus off in time. And so many of them are going to fall to the vicious two, like, double-sided glaives of these demons of the desert. Oh, so close! That was not bad. That was a solid handful of demons of the desert now falling to that Isengard catapult. And they are poised for another good hit. We're going to have to come back to that. I want to see what they managed to accomplish. Haven Guard now resting, licking their wounds after that fight with the Trollmen. A fight which is about to repeat itself. Another unit of Trollmen from Gambling moving back. 32 in this unit, exhausted completely. But he's got more. He's got yet more. Another 73 units that he can throw in against the Haven Guard. I don't know if the Haven Guard can do it. What do we got here? Demons of the Desert coming around from the rear, getting into that catapult. I think that's why the Haven Guard have actually fallen back. Looking to deal with these javelins in the back. Probably not the worst idea. Big charge coming in from that elite shock unit. Let's see how they manage to do. No casualties. Well, that could have gone better, definitely, for the defenders. Demons of the Desert not liking that fight. Looks like they're trying to escape, but they're actually being blocked by the catapult unit that they wanted to kill. Oh, that's just sneaky. Look at this. The catapult unit just sitting over here watching and reveling in their work as these guys get surrounded by the Haven Guard and pinned against the catapults. That is some fancy maneuvering right there. Well done to the Isengard player. Tier there, marksman moving forward. Try and support what remains of Prince Imrahil's bodyguard unit. Some more of the Serpent Guard coming in from the rear, trying to bash these Haven Guard down. But the Haven Guard are not going to let them do it. They're going to turn around in time and deny the Serpent Bodyguard the charge. But while all this is happening, Gambling definitely, I think, has the advantage here with all of these Trollmen. Look at this. They're just trying to hack down the few survivors left from the defending forces. Meanwhile, it looks like the Serpent Guard looking to get some nice hammer and anvil charges against the Haven Guard. Oh, they're going to do it. The Haven Guard aren't going to take a single casualty in response, and they're going to hack down a couple of those Serpent Bodyguardsmen. Oh, they're so fast, though. Just narrowly managing to avoid that encirclement by the White Knights that would have, I think, destroyed a heavy cavalry unit in the same situation. Oh, the Serpent Bodyguard doing work now against the Haven Guard. You can see some of the Haven Guard actually beginning to fall. Yes, this constant cycle charge and this constant pressure is really starting to take its toll. And now you can see that the rest of the Trollmen contingent has arrived. I don't think that Gundabad has anything left at this point. So it's really down to Gambling to hold his team together. Let's go ahead and let's fast forward through this. Oh, those Haven Guard meeting the Trollmen bravely in combat. I don't know if the Trollmen have it in them. Oh, excuse me, I had to yawn a little bit there. Yeah, I don't know if the Trollmen have it in them. It's a lot of Haven Guard who are only winded, whereas the Trollmen are exhausted. So they're taking the full brunt of the fatigue penalties. Oh, that hammer and anvil strike from the Serpent Bodyguard. Maybe that's going to be enough to give the attackers everything they need to win this fight. Oh man, still a single unit of hammer guard. Oh, never mind. That's one of the Witchers. Those White Knights having it out. Oh, it was like a 2v... Oh, never mind. It was a 3v2. Prince Imrahil now all by himself. rear charge now from the Haven Guard. They managed to drive, or into the Haven Guard rather. The Serpent Guard have managed to drive back the White Knights. Prince Imrahil himself now the only warrior left in that cavalry unit who has the strength to fight. We're here, the Haven Guard somehow bringing things back. I'm very impressed by this. They've lost a lot, but honestly, maybe they've got what it takes to take down these trollmen. Let's go ahead and let's fast forward just a little bit more. Oh, maybe we won't do that. It's a little bit too slow. Gambling's Serpent Guard, rather, still lurking in the background, looking for an opportunity. Prince Imrahil himself has joined the fray, just launching his own solo hammer and anvil strikes into the backs of these trollmen of Harad. See if the percentages are at 99% to 99%. Or no, 100% now. Oh, this is brutality. There's like nobody left. Who's going to garrison this castle even if the attackers manage to take it? Honestly. Those Haven Guard doing their best. They've really held out an impressively long time against the large numbers of trollmen that you've seen so far. Oh man, they're hacking them down left and right, but I think the constant harassment from Gambling's cavalry is going to be enough to keep the edge in favor of Harad. And there goes Prince Imrahil. He just got swiped basically. Some guy just ran by him, cut him down out of his saddle, and that's the end of the Dol Amroth commander. Oh man, these trollmen. It's like 9 to 12 or something like that. 9 to 3. Come on, Haven Guard. Oh, it's not going to be enough. Do the defenders have anything left? I don't think that they do. I think that Haven Guard was the last of their fighting strength. So a very close matchup between these two players. Very impressive. We saw some great tactics today and some solid decision making. So it was always a pleasure when you get to watch that. Let's go ahead and let's fast forward there. So another victory for the attackers, but look at how well these guys did. Peacekeeper especially, 3,227 kills. That is impressive. I'm not sure what happened here with Metalized. I think maybe he struggled a little bit against the very aggressive play from from Gundabad. They really swept through the initial positions very, very quickly, and it's a hard thing to predict, especially when you're feeling comfortable with a couple units of pike blocks there, thinking that everything's okay, and then suddenly your opponent throws you for a curveball and they just muscle their way through. So maybe he wasn't expecting that too much, but that tactic really, I think, paid off for the attackers. Take a look at how Harad did. Oh, it's beautiful. The Trollmen of Harad definitely doing a lot of work, more than paying for themselves, I'm sure. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had intended to have an episode of Elves of Lorien out today instead of a replay, but I'm having some issues getting the campaign to start. So while I fix that, we're going to continue forward with our replays and some of our other series. Things that are coming up in the future. Oh man, guys. I am really excited to announce this to you, and I will do a video of it to give you a little bit more information and that sort of thing a little bit later. But I can tell you about a very big project that I have coming down the pipes. It is a Westeros-based RP campaign. I've got a lot of people to be playing the game. I'm making a game board for it right now. I've already got most of the rules and the factions settled, and everyone's kind of settled into their factions and things like that. But I've also got a team of voice actors, and we're going to be making it into a web series. That's a really big-time project. It's going to take me quite a long time and a lot of work to get the first installment of it out, but I cannot wait to show it to you. Other things coming down the lane, it's definitely going to be the RP. The RP has started on the Third Age Discord. If you guys are interested in following along, or maybe even subbing in for some of the battles, they're always looking for new people to get them in there and get them involved with the community. So if you guys are interested in doing that, take a look at the link in the description. Wow, I can talk today, I told you. The link is down there. Come and join us. I'm active on there. There's a lot of people that you've seen in the videos that are also really active, so it's a great place to get your Third Age on. But other than that, I can't think of too much more. That's mostly all of the really exciting stuff. If you guys are hungry for more replays, I do actually have one up on the official 30 channel, so I'll put a link for that for you guys down in the description as well. But yeah, thank you for joining me. My name is JMonster, and I hope to see you in our next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye!